Hey, we're live.
Woo!
Woohoo. Well, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's Jeff, Godless Scummer. I've got some great guests on the show on my channel today. I have Miss SciStrikeling, Global Mum, that's EiE Moon, and Miss Amy Hogan, and helping me to resist the gynocracy today. I have Ballinator in with me as well. This is the crew behind the Uncalled Four on the EiE Network, some formerly known as the Shills channel. So welcome to the channel, guys. How are you all doing today?
We are great.
Yeah,
Doing
very
awesome.
excited
Thank
to be
you.
here. Thank you for having us.
Well,
Excellent.
thanks for
Yes,
coming
thank you
on.
so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Glad
I've been
to be
looking
here,
forward
Jeff.
to. Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. I've been
Thanks for
really
inviting us.
okay. Well, before I jump into sort of like asking you guys some questions, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I give my final thoughts on a subject that I know all of you have given your final thoughts on, and this will be the last. This is going to be the last time that I will address Validation Boy. I have no intention of addressing this fuckwit again after this. Now, those who remember, I did a couple of videos responding to really stupid shit he'd putting out, and I know he saw both of them because he responded to both of them in the comment section, calling me all kinds of names and stuff. Fair enough, or whatever. I think this content he puts out is awful and disgusting. I did offer, along with, I know, Ilya, who's in the chat here, I think Cheshire Vic and Logical Troglodyte, myself, all offered to have a conversation with this guy, and he was no go on that. He's obviously not willing to come out from the safety of his own channel. So whatever, that's it is what it is. My final words, basically, the Validation Boy, will be this: I don't know where your disgusting attitude towards women comes from. I really don't know, and I don't really care. I think your attitude stinks. It's disgusting. I really hope that there's a chance that if there's something wrong with you or whatever, go get that help. And I hope you can grow out of this bullshit that you put out there and become a better person. I'm an optimist. I'd like to hope that can happen. But this is the last time I'll be addressing you, Validation Boy, because quite frankly, you're not worth my time and you're not worth anyone else's time, and I've given you too much attention already. So that's it. That's my final statement on him. Okay, yeah. Guys, happy with that?
We are happy with that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very nicely said. Yes.
Yeah, I'll try to be as polite as I possibly could be about that as well. So, guys, so let's get into your show, what it's all about, how it all came together, and why you guys decided to do the Uncalled Four. So we'll go from there. If who wants to take that one on?
I think Ilya should take that one on.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So Ilya Moon. I started to give the story of how Ilya Moon came about, but that's not what you asked. Need more coffee. So the Uncalled For came about from honestly, Validation Boy, if you want to know the truth. It was his live video that he had done calling out the shills. He came for Dick Dawson, Dead Kennedy, Logical, and Amy, as well as me without knowing my name at the time, and Glover Mom. So when we watched that live video, one of the things that we talked about was the fact that he has such a hate boner, is the right word for it, for women. And we felt like the live video needed a reaction, but the reaction should come from the women. And I talked to Amy about it, and then we talked to the other members of the EiE Network, formerly Shills, and we all agreed that Amy and I should take it on. And our first thought was, well, Glober Mom was mentioned in it. We should definitely have Glober Mom join us, and then SciStrikeling join us, because both of them are very witty. They're very clever. When it comes to breaking down the things that Validation Boy said, we thought there was no better two people to join us than those two. So initially it was going to be Amy and I, and we were going to have guests on, and Glober Mom and SciStrikeling were going to be our first set of guests. But thinking through it, we decided they would be a great addition to have as permanent panel members. So that's where the Uncalled Four came. SciStrikeling, Glober Mom, myself, and Amy, we are the Uncalled Four. We are the permanent panel members. And from that, of course, we decided, okay, well, we will have guests on weekly, and we will look at things such as incels, anti-feminist, even to the point that we're going to look at some extreme feminism coming up that we will probably go through and have some criticisms for as well. But we're going to take this topic that is a hot topic that is separate from the topics you see in the normal silly shill shows, right? You see the flat earthers or the pseudoscience, things like that are getting broken down within the normal silly shill show. So we're going to make this more about the other hot topics that need to be addressed from a woman's perspective. And in the process, I threw it out there to Taddy and Bull, because they're the two main producers for the EiE Network, and said, okay, we're going to need a producer who's available. And Bull said, me. So Bull was very excited to get involved behind the scenes and be an honorary member of the Uncalled Four and help produce the show. But it did come from a place of giving women a voice to fight back in a healthy way, to have healthy conversation that isn't so left-wing feminist extreme, right? Because we have that medium balance, or that medium voice. So that's where it all came from. I think, Amy and I really did have a partnership from the beginning of what we wanted the show to look like. And I think that we have seen it come to fruition in the best way possible.
I absolutely agree, and I was just saying just before we came on, actually, that I really love the sort of debunks of the idiots and that on the shills, whether it be the flat earthers or young Earth creationists, whatever it may be. But you guys, I think, really take on a different kind of stupid, and in a lot of ways, some quite bad ideas, and people who put real bad ideas out, and you guys really seem to take that stuff apart really well. And I think what you're doing is excellent. So this is something, obviously. Question I'm going to ask this. This is a question that I had Dick on the channel about a month or two ago, and I'm going to ask him the same. You guys, and you may each have a different answer for this, but of all the guys that you've covered in videos or whatever, who's been the most frustrating one, or the one that's annoyed you the most, and why is it Validation Boy? But it's probably, I probably know it's going to be him, but I should have probably said other than him, but.
Well, yeah, he's the most frustrating, I think, because he just doesn't get it. I think that was my biggest frustration is also he covers things that really hit home to a lot of people, like calling everything that he sees as fake, like the whole Asperger's thing. That really bothered me a lot, because I have a child that's on the autism spectrum and he has ADHD and everything. And there are struggles that go along with that from outside forces, not him per se. You know what I'm saying? Mm. And Validation Boy does not help that stigma any by saying that what he has is fake. And just claiming that it's bad parenting. Well, how many times I've heard that?
Yeah.
And things like that. The health aspect of it is really what's irritating to me, because I live that every day. I have to deal with ignorant people like that on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had just going through the store, and Matt was doing his regular thing. He was what's called scripting, and which means he just talks out what he's thinking about, and just doing normal things for him. And people were making fun of him and calling him the R word, which is why I hate that word. If anybody really wants to know.
Yeah.
And so
not one something I like.
this
So.
exactly. So things like what Validation Boy is doing is not helping. That's my with them.
So I'm going to try and get each of you to ask that one. So answer that same sort of question about who's most frustrating. And it doesn't have, or should we? I probably should say other than Validation Boy. So I'll ask Global Mum. Do you want to go next?
Well, other than Validation Boy, we've already talked about him. Puny F. He's been my most frustrating. I haven't really dealt with him. I was going to make a response video when he called me out and just ranted on me on one of his live streams. And I decided, it's not worth my time or energy. So, but anybody else I've covered, I really haven't found too annoying. I've just dealt with it. I have kids and family, so I'm used to being annoyed. So I have a husband, so there's another one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sai, do you want to take that question as well?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think one of the biggest ones was a newer one, actually, Copeland.
Mhm.
We just kind of briefly touched on him, but I kind of went through and watched some of his videos that he's had, and just the sheer ignorance coming from him is really what bothers me. The fact that people just spew this crap and act like they're better than everybody else, and they have all the answers and stuff like that. It just drives me nuts, but him more so than a lot. I could just feel the disdain in his voice in his videos, and it just bothers me.
Okay. I'll throw that now to Ilya. Do you want same question?
Mine would definitely be Copeland. We've only covered one video so far, but I watched 4 videos this week that are lined up for tomorrow's show. So there's your little teaser.
Okay.
And then Anthony Spade, probably a toss up between the two. Anthony Spade is just an ignorant red pill, whereas Copeland is a black pill. So, they're both within the same wheelhouse, just one is slightly worse than the other. And so
Yeah.
those two for sure have been the 2 most annoying ones for me to cover.
Okay. And finally, I'll ask Ball the same question. You have to produce.
Yeah, I have to listen to these people. And so I have obviously big issues with Validation Boy, because the hypocrisy and the serious martyrdom from that guy. Hello, you're not the victim. Let the victims talk for themselves. Oh, you can't. Right. Got it. So anyway, that's Validation Boy. But aside, I would say this Copeland fellow, because he acts so lost at the same time. He acts lost. That's the sad part, is he doesn't know better. And it's gonna be interesting with him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of my first exposure to him was actually watching you guys last week, and I was just I was just like, what is this guy on? And I can see. I was there thinking to myself, thinking he's going to be a recurring topic on your show. I was just there thinking it there and then, but yeah, I mean, this are all sort of real. I mean, so obviously you guys, you delve into a lot of this sort of the MGTOW and incel stuff, and I mean, I just find that. I mean, I find that such a rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you guys ask, because you've dived into this a lot more than I have. But what seems to be the sort of thing? What's the sort of common thread that you find with these types of guys? If you could, if there's sort of things you find very similar about all these guys at all, or not, or I just wonder what your opinion is on that.
I think the one thing that I find common between them all is that they really genuinely believe the bullshit they spew. Um, the complete disregard for women is strong in each of them. The complete disregard for all of the women who came before us that fought for us to have a voice, to be able to vote, to drive, to work outside of the home. They're just horrible people who have caused all of the bad issues across the world. It's a blatant disregard for their fight for true equality. And it's a blatant disregard for women. And they genuinely believe it, which is what's common amongst them all, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, because I still said it's not something I've really delved into as much, really, as that sort of is that sort of, I know some of the terms or whatever, but the attitudes, but I've never quite, I've never quite understood this sort of particularly like with the incels, their attitudes. I mean, because if I speak for myself, I'm a guy who, I'll put it out there. I'm a guy, I struggle to talk to women or whatever. I struggle with relationships, but at the same time, I'm very well aware that I'm not entitled to anything at the same time, that I'm not owed anything by anyone. And that seems to be a thing I find very frustrating, is that this is an entitlement thing. And it's like, with the incels, it's like, and it's like, oh, it's like with me, okay. Like I said, I know I've got my issues, but I know they're my issues. It's with them. It seems to be no. It's women's fault that we're not getting. It's all their fault we're not getting laid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just find that attitude like I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on it are. I'd just be interested.
Well,
I think some guys just can't admit that it's what they're doing is why they can't have a relationship or talk to women or whatever. They put it on the woman.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so it's her fault that you can't talk to her. Yeah. It's that they're not self-aware, basically.
Right.
They're self-absorbed.
There's a lack of self-awareness in each of these gentlemen, if you want to call them that. They aren't self-aware at all. They don't understand that their insecurities and their issues is, that's the catalyst for what's keeping them from finding a healthy relationship. Instead, it is the woman's fault. And all of us, women included, have insecurities. We all have things we have to work through to find a healthy relationship and to continue to develop a healthy relationship. It's not just men who struggle in that department, but it's understanding your issues and being self-aware enough to work on those things to become the best version of yourself so you can find your right partner in this world, as opposed to taking it to an extreme, becoming bitter, becoming angry, and blaming the world because you don't want to work on yourself. Basically.
Yeah, I find as well that, I did once have a look on, I think it was incels.is or whatever it was. It was one of the well-known forums. Because I was just, and you just out of curiosity, and you just see really that it's almost like an ideology with these guys. It's not almost. It is like there is like an ideology to this thing. And it does seem like they all seem to parrot the very same things.
Well, I look at it as an unwillingness to admit that you're wrong. There's a very high prevalence of that in there.
Yeah.
It's like they're all unwilling to, no matter what else is going on in their lives, they can say they are not taking it out on women, but they have this, they want to blame somebody, and if that happens to be the focus, that happens to be the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. because I asked you about that because I'm assuming that Bull, you were probably the producer on some of those non-sex shows when they had the incel guys come on, and
actually.
and I mean, because it's interesting. There was one guy who came on who talked a bit about the history of like the whole incel thing and how it, I think, may have started out. It's been something that started out with pretty noble intentions and then just turned into this monster that it is today.
Right.
Which is, it's really weird if you to even think that the original idea behind it actually might have been a kind of a good idea as a mutual support group, and then just when I don't know over time just devolved into this disgusting cesspool that it's become today. But
yeah, I mean, I think I see that a lot with a lot of different kind of groups and stuff where they start out with good intentions, but then you get people that take it to the extreme. And that's with pretty much anything. I mean, even feminism has very extreme ends of that as well. But I feel like they latch on to the extremes. These people mostly that we cover on our show, and they kind of latch on to those extremes and hold that as like the ultimate truth. And I think that's where the problem comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because a lot of times when you hear the term feminist being thrown about now, they're talking about someone like I don't know, I'll say like an Anita Sarkeesian or something like that, who's very much kind of at least in her rhetoric is very much out there with what she says.
Oh yeah.
Look, I mean, people know my politics. I'm very, very much on the left, but I find some of these people like they're just like almost sectarian about their way they approach stuff.
Right.
And but I find when and I find a lot of the time that when you see these guys that perhaps you're dealing with when they're going after what they call feminists or whatever, they're going after a caricature of what they think feminism is. That's what I seem to find with it.
Well, what I seem to find is the lack of feminist content that they go after. They are going after women more and feminism less. The topics that they're covering are not genuine feminist topics. The only thing in there that I guess could be looked at from a feminist topic perspective would be, the typical male versus female roles, where they say women should just produce babies and take care of babies and their husband, and that's it. But outside of that, they don't talk about any real issues. Otherwise, it's just literal woman bashing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it completely is. I mean, it's a lot. Especially what I've heard with He Who We're No Longer Speaking of. That's definitely what he does.
Yes.
That other guy you covered last week, it seemed to be very similar. But I was going to change gears for a second. This is a question specifically, I think, to ask Ilya. And I really want to ask you to talk about this project that you have going on. Because you talked a bit about this on the show a few weeks ago when you did a show which was you guys did, which was far more serious than just ripping down the idiots, and it was really addressing some very, very serious issues. So I wondered if you'd be happy to talk about that, Ilya.
Yeah, absolutely. So that whole episode was centered around assault and trying to have a healthy conversation about assault and give voice to the victims of assault and also give voice to victims who have been falsely accused. It wasn't a one size, one shoe fits all situation. We had conversation about just assault versus rape, aggravated rape. It was just a lot. It was a very emotional show, but it was a show that needed to happen. Where it came from was there was a hangout back in January that we had And I'm not going to name the person, but a person came in who was calling another member of the community an R apologist.
I think I would just say I think I'm aware of the
Yeah.
hangout you're on about, but we won't. I'm again, that's something I'm not going to delve into on the channel.
Correct.
But I know who we're on about.
It
here.
was an epic dumpster fire.
Yes.
And at the end of it, before I left the stream, because I went on the stream before I left, I said, I am going to leave this stream now. I do think this is a conversation we need to have, but we need to have it in a healthy way and not in a screaming match, right? And I then decided to take on the project of asking the community if they wanted to share stories and have conversation about their personal experiences. And of course, we were going to keep everything anonymous. And we were going to keep it, just to talking about their stories and the effects that this has on people. And I started receiving stories in. Some were not shared because they were initially shared to me, and then the person came back and said, I've changed my mind. I'm not comfortable with my story being shared. Those did not make it through, but the other stories I put together and sent to Amy, and I kept it super anonymous. Even with Amy, me sending it to Amy, I did not put who they were from in my email to Amy with all of the conversation and stories. Everything that was sent to me was kept completely anonymous, but it was extremely important to share those stories and to have a healthy conversation about the effects of assault and the effects that it can also have on people who are falsely accused. I wanted to shed light on that and have a healthy conversation. So it really was a passion project that started from that epic dumpster fire. But I figured if anything was going to come from that epic dumpster fire, we needed to make it good. And my whole goal was to have a show that could highlight this conversation. And I talked to Dick Dawson about it, and Dick was like, is that something you want to bring to the EiE Network with you? And I said, yeah, I think that would be great. And then when the Uncalled For came about, that's when the conversation happened that maybe the Uncalled For was the perfect show to start the conversation. So that's where, we started it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's a very important thing to have sensible conversations around this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think it's something that really needs to happen. I think.
Yeah.
And I think I think people are going to be better off for having those conversations. I think.
Yes.
So I think I mean, again, I don't want to, as I said, we don't want to get into that whole issue where this came from, but there, a lot of the sort of rhetoric I just find in general just gets thrown around really loosely, and I think sometimes what really counts gets lost a bit, and I think what you're doing is fantastic there.
And I don't know exactly how to go about it from here, but I do think that was just the first episode of many we're going to have, where there's going to be times that we're going to have a serious episode and we're addressing something that's more serious as opposed to watching videos and ripping people apart, right? I think that this show is representative of a collective group of women who are here to empower women while still respecting our fellow men at the same time, because we are not men bashers. We love the men in our lives, whether they be our brothers, dads, sons, boyfriends, husbands, whatever the case may be, or producers. I love Bull. He's one of my dearest friends. So, we all have a place in our lives for the wonderful men and what they can bring to us and enhance in our lives. But at the same time, we need to give that reasonable voice for women that can have the conversation that needs to be had without being disrespectful towards men, but also standing up for what's important. So I think ultimately, and Amy can correct me if I'm wrong, I think ultimately that's what the show was born out of.
I agree completely. That's exactly what it come from.
Yep.
So you're not gynocrats after all, then?
No, we're just strong, independent women.
Who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
Who'd have
Well,
thought it?
for a while when he called us, when he called us a group of gunocracy and all that, I totally
Oh.
changed my name to Lady
Yep.
Ilia Moon of Gunocracy because,
I noticed that. Yeah.
and the reason why was to just show him that his words have zero effect on me. I'm just going to own what he throws out and be done. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, well, that's the whole reason I had this stream, because I wanted validation from the gynocracy. That's the only reason I put you guys on.
Yeah,
Dick
that's
Dawson
right.
in the
That's right.
chat said, "Be honest, it's all about the dick." Well, sometimes you're right there, Dick Dawson. Sometimes it is all about the dick.
Yeah.
All right, Dick. You're all right, my friend. So okay, I've got next question. This one's seeing this actually as we've just brought up Dick. This is a question I think for Amy, and Dick mentioned this when he was on my channel, and I had a chat with him that you've got another project coming up that you're doing with him on the EiE Network, which I think is going to be again a very important topic to discuss. And I believe, Bull, you're going to be involved with producing as well, are you?
If you're talking about the autism show, yes, we are going to.
Yes.
That was what I was wanting to ask about. Yeah. So I didn't.
Yes.
Amy want to talk about that.
Yes, and that's going to be coming up very soon. We're getting everything all squared away. It's just basically going to be like some episodes are just going to be like about a day in the life of what happens when you have a child with autism or any special needs. We're going to be starting that up very soon, I believe. We're getting everything all ready and getting our guests ready and everything. So it's going to be a fun show. I'm going to like it. We're going to have some serious points, of course, so we can discuss certain things that, get into like the clinical aspects probably and have some guests on. But a lot of the times we're going to be able to have some fun with it too. I think it's going to be a good show and kind of give everybody kind of an idea what it's like, for people who do have it, people who, and people who help the ones who do have it. So it's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, I think it's something I will definitely be tuned into because I think it's a subject that I want to learn more about. And how what autism exactly is and how
Exactly.
we deal, how we approach it and how we deal with it, because I think it's something I think most people don't really know much about it, and I think
Absolutely.
people do need to be educated on this, and it's very much because it is a spectrum. There really isn't a one size fits all kind of thing for this. And
Absolutely. I mean, I volunteer in my son's classroom when it's open, but yeah, when so you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. So it's such a wide, varied spectrum that it's incredible. My son is in a contained classroom with kids with autism, and each and every one of them are vastly different. It's amazing. It's amazing how different they can all be. And it's so yeah, and I think that's what it is. And a lot of the times when people hear about autism, they scoff at it because they don't know anything about it. My son is 14 years old and I'm still learning today, some of the different things about autism and how to help him through certain areas. I mean, it's a lifelong learning thing sometimes. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
It absolutely is. I mean, I am really looking forward to seeing what you and Dick do with this show. I really am.
Thank you.
I know people who are on the spectrum with one thing. I know a number of people like Asperger's, and sorry to mention his name again. Yes, validation boy. That Asperger's is real.
Yes, it is.
Check it out. I know a number. I do know a number of people with Asperger's and stuff, but still, a lot of it, I don't necessarily know how it all, really how it works. And so I'm glad to see that you guys hopefully be putting out stuff that answers some of these questions, which
That's
I think
exactly.
again,
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping to do, and help dispel some of the myths, help know, and it'd be good to help dispel some of the stigma that goes along with it. It's like anything else that has to do with neurological, diversity and and mental health issues as well. It hopefully we can help put some of that to bed and make it so that they're all human too, and they want
yeah,
they want to be recognized as such and not treated differently just because they might not act like someone else does. So that's what we're hoping for.
yeah, that's good. I'm going to go around and change things because what I've sort of done with this is I've sort of written down a question, mate, so something to talk about with each one of you sort of individually. So I'm going to move on to SciStrikeling. You've just started you've got into YouTube quite recently, haven't you? From what I understand, but you're a second generation YouTuber.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, what is it you're trying to do with your own individual channel as well as what you're doing with the Uncalled Four?
A bunch of different things, really. I mean, I've only really, started getting into doing YouTube videos and live streams and stuff like that within the last 4 or 5 months or so. 6 months ago when my dad passed away, I at first, knew he did all this stuff, behind the scenes and stuff, but didn't really realize the extent of the community that he was involved with. I had a lot of regrets at first that, there was multiple times when he would ask me to, come do stuff with him and everything, as far as YouTube goes and all that. And I always just, was so busy with work and, my own life that I said, oh, there'll be plenty of time. So after his passing, I said, well, you know what, I definitely want to make sure that his movie night continued. That was something that was important to him, and therefore it was important to me. So I kind of got involved with the people that had been, heavily involved in that, and kind of just realized how great this community was and how much more time I did want to spend with them. So I started going from there, just about trying to figure out what I wanted my own channel to be. And I really wasn't sure. I don't know. I'm not really smart when it comes to science and, all that kind of stuff. I don't know a lot about it, but I learn quick, and I'm willing to admit when I don't know something and, be happy to have somebody explain it to me or anything like that. And just in doing all the learning and stuff, I found out that I like to teach people as well. I love photography. It's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm looking forward to making some photography tutorials for my channel, just to kind of get, to help people have that understanding and show them like what different things can do for them. In addition, I just love video games. I've always been a gamer since I was a kid. And I just have, I've always liked watching people play games, but also having people interact with me while I play those games. And it's definitely something that I just enjoy doing, video game streams and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and just kind of winging it.
Yeah. Okay. So any particular favorite video game?
Pretty much most RPGs. I don't play sports games. I'm not a big, sports gamer or anything like that. Racing, none of that kind of stuff. But pretty much anything where I can create a character and make a story out of it is fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, specifically because I don't do much like gaming these days. I'm sort of the age where it was the I had the consoles like the Sega Mega Drive, which I think was called the Genesis in the United States. So that's kind of my gaming era. It was stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever. So
yeah,
kind of my but so okay. I do play a few sports games. So I get a chance on like FIFA Soccer, sort of one of those type. Type. I'm from the UK. Soccer, soccer or football's big here. So, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I did have sort of go to your channel a bit earlier, so just sort of a little look at what you did, because I did see obviously your takedown of he who we're done with now, and
Yep.
we'll and it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I really did.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you did. Yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely something I'm kind of winging as I go, but it's been a really awesome journey and a great time getting to know the whole community, and I'm so glad that I had everybody that I did when I went through this.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to be basically asking Global Mum about the same thing, because I have watched your channel for a little while. As you know, because I've popped up in the comment sections a few times.
Yes.
You seem to, I will say this, you seem to have been having a blast recently with JM Truth and Nathan Thompson, between the two of them.
Oh, that
You
the
seem to have
2-part
been-
video I did?
Yeah, you seem to have been having a blast.
That was a
with
fun one
them.
to do because there was so much to work with.
Mm.
And it was just like I would edit it and go, oh, I could put this in here. And so I would just start popping things in. And that was fun because they gave me so much. Nathan is the gift that keeps on giving, I have to say.
Isn't he just? Isn't he just?
So, but yeah, as I was watching that live stream, I just had things popping in my head of what I could put where and everything. So that's how that came to be.
Yeah.
But those two parts were very well received by everybody. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep that formula up. But yeah, that was JM, like I say. Yeah, anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so we just, I think you did mention this. We talked before a bit about this, I think, but if you want to tell me, why did you sort of go into like the sort of debunking, like the flurfs and that? What was it?
I had been watching Flat Earth videos for like 2 or 3 years prior, and also getting into debunking videos. And I knew as I started watching the Flat Earth ones, I'm like, oh my God, these people are idiots. It was just automatic. So I knew I didn't have that conspiratorial mind like they did. But I started watching all the debunkings. And then what finally got me was last year, Team and FTFE had Hip Hop Hippie on talking about
God, sorry, I can't stand that guy.
Airplane. And it was just like, I can't let this go. I've got to jump in now because in chat, you can only do so much, you know? So I decided, you know what? I had already had one channel on for since 2009. It was like a personal channel. I go, you know what? I've already got one channel. Let's start another. And that's how that was born. And I just jumped into various different, I did Hip Hop Hippie. And then as soon as I did Daniel Pratt, that got a lot of attention. And it just kind of has sprung from there. So I'm trying to diversify my topics, but it's kind of difficult, you know, when there's so many people giving on one side.
Well, I mean, all I'm going to say about like the flat earthers, to be honest, at the moment, I know it's only like late March, but to be honest, it's already a 2-horse race between JM Truth and Nathan Thompson for dumb fuck of the year, isn't it? It's got to be one of those two.
In January with the debates he did with Team, and then Nathan decided to step in and go, I'm going to harass some kids and get arrested, and
and then go harass more kids.
Now he's just getting worse from there.
Yeah. Oh, he's unbelievable. I mean, I never joined it, but I knew people who were part of that Facebook group he runs, which is just misleading because it's supposed to be it's just there's flat Earth and globe debate,
and globe discussion, but then
but anyone who comes in there debunking flat Earth gets kicked out and or muted immediately. It's just
I commented on one of his videos in YouTube, and it was just like I got a response back, and it was just like, basically, you're a troll. I've blocked you from my Facebook group. I'm like, okay, I wasn't on it to begin with, so I don't really care. But he hasn't blocked me on his YouTube channel. You know?
Yeah.
So I think he blocked me on chats though, because I can't see him in chats sometimes. But it's just so funny. It's just so funny. It's like, you're blocking me in the wrong thing, dude. I barely get on Facebook anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
I just don't. Yeah, I don't get. I mean, Nathan's one of those. I'm not quite sure whether he really believes this stuff or not. That's always the big question I tend to have with flat earthers: is are they true believers, or do they?
Well, I do know FTFE said in one of his streams that Nathan, I guess they were talking on, I forget where, email or something, but Nathan basically was like, yeah, I know all the crap in my flyers is BS, but he's putting it out anyway. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think he also uses God and religion to further that flat Earth agenda, because if you guys notice, he talks about, I don't swear, I don't insult people on blah, 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 blah. There are some, I've got him downloaded because some people have put him out, him on the 24/7 Discord, drunk off his butt, insulting people and swearing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then who put one out? Was it Sean put one out about him drunk and swearing and stuff like that again? So it's just like, you're saying one thing but doing another. And I admit I'm not a big fan of swearing, but if I get in a certain company, I will swear. That's just me. But I try not to do it on my channels if at all, if unless it's pertinent. But
Yeah.
I will put people on that are swearing because I want people to see the full. Here's how these people are, and I don't, Plus, it's difficult to take the swearing off sometimes, so I just leave it. But yeah.
Well, Amy gets told off if she says the word poop. So
I know. I love when Matt does his drive-by mattings. It's so funny. But yeah.
Yeah, he does. He gives me a drive-by matting every once in a while. Don't swear,
I
Mama.
think how many were there the other night? 3 or 4 that drive-by matties.
Yes. There were several.
Yeah, well, I remember I've pretty much mainly gone through most of my notes now. So, I don't know if is there anything you guys really want to plug coming up or whatever that we need to get the message out right now.
The only thing going on in my world other than the Uncalled Four, remember, it is Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern every week. And tomorrow we are taking on Copeland. So that will be fun. And our guest tomorrow is Linda Nielsen from, oh my gosh.
A bit of, oh my God, tea and Danish.
There we go. Thank you, Global.
Danish is her channel. I even forgot for a second.
It was on my tongue too. I was like,
it's on my tip of my tongue. But anyway, she's joining us tomorrow. Other than that, Sarcastic Barman, as you know, who is also a member of the EiE Network and a fellow shill, he does a weekly quiz, a pub quiz. And yesterday it was myself and Cross Puncher, who's in the chat, and we were the Cross Punchers team against NASA Black Site, and we won. So next Friday, as reigning champions, we are going to go back and go against another team. So that's Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, so that should be good. Yeah, because I know he does his poker notes on the EiE Network. He does that on his own channel, doesn't he?
He does that on his own channel, but as reigning champions, I will be back on there with my team member to take on another team.
And also tonight after the Silly Shoal show that we have, I forget when that one starts precisely, but
I know it's normally about 11:30 my time, but
right, but
6:30 Eastern, I believe.
6:30, 7:30 Eastern.
Did they switch it up an hour? I don't. Anyway,
I don't know, but it's somewhere one of those times. Afterwards, we're having the Pain of Progress, which is it's like a premiere. We do it live so people can get their super chats in. So if you do super chat during the premiere, it will show up on the replay of the premiere because it's not really a premiere. But anyway, we'll go into all that.
Thanks, Patty. I thought it was 11:30 GMT. Yeah. I remember the time I came on. I know I had to stay up late for it. So
this daylight thing is kind of gobbled us all up with the hours. But after tonight, don't worry about it. So
let's put it this way: I needed plenty of coffee to stay up for it. Then plenty of alcohol when I realised it was Validation Boy we were looking at. So it was we kind of cancelled each other out, really.
That's completely understandable.
Yes,
we feel your pain with that. Trust us.
I don't drink, but imagine how difficult it is for me when that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I don't drink or smoke or anything. Coffee is the strongest thing I've ever had.
Yep,
So
that's about it. Coffee.
I've got coffee right now, even though
Yeah, mine's cold,
Yeah.
but it's
But I
think
take
to-
one of the pillows from the couch and scream into it. It
there you
helps.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
And I've urged people on when I do my videos, if you don't have an oven mitt, just keep a pillow next to your, pillow next to your computer. Don't hurt the computer. Grab the pillow and just
Yeah.
and,
basically.
and we do have some great upcoming shows. Next Sunday, our guest is Pie Parrot and Linda Bertelson. Linda wanted to come back. She was a part of our serious episode, but she really wants to rejoin us again for a more fun takedown type episode. So she will be back. And then we've got people lined up like Mommy Atheist is coming on.
Matt, I know her. I know Mama Atheist. Yeah,
Dizzy,
I know her.
Danger Hissy is coming on.
I know her as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
She
also
just started a new channel, sir.
in May, the first Sunday in May is going to be an ally/birthday celebration for myself, and we're going to have men join us. They're going to join the panel for that Sunday, and we're going to talk about the allyship and how we can bridge the gaps, and then also kind of just celebrate my birthday. And then the Sunday after that, we are going to be celebrating Glover Mom's 1-year anniversary on YouTube for her channel. So we have some really fun things coming up.
Wow. Yeah, I think actually, I'm literally just coming up on 3 years on YouTube, and I think it'll be in about another month or so. I'd have been on there for 3 years, but.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
But
Yay.
I've only really started doing anything really properly with it though the last few months. So
Thank
I
you
think some
again
people are
so
like
much
that.
for having us.
They've had channels
Oh,
for a
it's
long
gonna-
ago. I'm going to put a video on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start doing that too.
Yeah, my son has my old account, my original account, so he puts his little things on it. That way I can watch it because it's signed into
Yay.
mine. Yeah, so that's been on there for a long, long time. But this one that I've got now has only been on there for like maybe a year and a half.
Just before,
And that's the one that I do the scam baiting on too. So
I will just say just before we go, then I'll just give it maybe a few more minutes in case anyone from the chat wants to ask anything. So, if you guys do, anyone in the chat's got a question to ask you guys, but most of them probably the guys already. So, I start looking through this list. It's like, I'll start looking at who's in the chat.
In here.
And like I said, I've only been doing anything on YouTube for the last couple of months. But the part I love most about it is that pretty much any stream I go into or on, I see the same people all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yes.
it's so awesome to have like that kind of support for me and for other YouTube creators and content producers.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, definitely.
I think you tend to find that though when you go into like live chats of any YouTuber, you can see similar people, and there's going to be the same people like and most of our in like your live chats are probably going to be in mine or whatever. But then you can go to like other people's who are slightly in a different circle and see all the same names around their circle. It just seems to be how YouTube works when you go into live chats. I mean,
It looks like
Definitely.
Saber Eagle has a question.
so let's bring this up on
Says-
screen.
There we go.
Question: favorite and least favorite Flurf debunker or Intel debunker or Andy debunker?
Oh my gosh. Favorite okay, so my favorite debunker is a toss-up between MC Toon and Team Skeptic. I think they're absolutely fantastic individually, but they can work well in groups. I love their content. Of course, I'm not talking about the EiE Network because I'm a part of the EiE Network, but obviously they would also be my favorite. Least favorite, I do not have one. I cannot tell you a least favorite because, to be honest with you, I love About the Flat Earth. I love Red's Rhetoric. I love all of those channels that are really heavy into debunking. So there's no way I could say that there's a least favorite. From an incel debunker, I would say the Uncalled Four is my favorite.
Actually, I don't know about many incel debunkers out there. I think it is you guys, really, isn't it?
It's us, and then probably I would say that time of the month with Cheshire and
Oh,
Sweet Haven,
yeah.
Yeah.
but they're a favorite too. Like I watch all of their episodes too, so
Yeah.
they're definitely not a least
Yeah.
favorite. I mean, I think honestly, our
Sweet
two
was in the
shows
chat
are.
earlier, but
Yeah, I think our shows
Yeah.
go hand in hand. There is conversation that Chesh and I are having on the backside about a collab. We're just trying to figure out how to make that work because 8 panel members at once would be a lot when you're talking about this type of subject. So we're trying to figure out if we do it in a collab, maybe 2 weeks apart with 4 of us on one and 4 on the other, or how we want to do a collab that would make sense where we can kind of join forces and show that unity. But more to come on that. That's still something we're playing around with. So, but as far as my favorites, those are my favorites. There's no way I could ever say a least favorite. I love them all.
yeah.
Your
I mean,
music.
and
Don't want to get a copyright claim.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as my favorite, I think we all know I'm gonna say the Shills and the Uncalled For, but I don't have any least favorites because I do like them all. So
I do have one least favorite, but we don't name him. But yeah, he was a focus of somebody else's live stream recently, so we'll kind of just leave it at that. He would definitely be my least favorite. But then, as far as most favorite or anything like that, there's not really one in particular. It's a whole host of them. But definitely the EiE Network and Team Skeptic and just the whole science or satire show that the 3 of them do together. All that kind of stuff is really just up there. There's so many that I can't have one favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. It's hard to pick a favorite because they're also good. And as far as the other side of the coin, I don't have a favorite incel or fundy debunker or least favorite, whatever it is. They're all the same to me. There's some that I won't touch, like Nathan Oakley. You can't really do much with him because he just does the same thing over and over and over. And he's a Poe anyway, in my opinion. But yeah, so. But I love them all. I mean, I love them all. I love everybody in my community and even the extended communities that we've come together with as well.
absolutely.
That we've all come together with. Yeah.
I totally agree with you on Oakley. He's definitely a Poe, and as SciStrikeling, as for that person we're not talking about, I don't even really consider him a debunker, to be honest. But if I think I know who you're on about, me personally, I mean, it's not really anyone I dislike, or they all do good jobs in their own different ways. I mean, I think when it comes to some of the debates between flat earthers and that, I mean, I don't know anyone who murders flat earthers the way Red's rhetoric does. You can go and ask JM Truth about that. He just got absolutely. But they all do a very good. They all do with FTFE or Team Skeptic, Sean, whoever it is. They all have their own sort of different things they bring to the table, But which is what I enjoy about it. Well. I'm going to bring the string to an end of it because I know, SciStrikeling, you're very busy this weekend, and I definitely appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely appreciate being here and you having us on. I think it's awesome.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming on. Global Mom, Ilya, Bull, Amy. Yeah,
thank you so much. It was an honor.
Well, I see 2 questions I want to grab from the chat real quick. But one is from Tiny about if we would ever try to get Rachel Oates on. Yes, I would love to have Rachel Oates on. Also, Shannon Q. She was recently on the EiE Network show, and it is something we brought up. So I think Amy and I are going to work on that soon. And then Roxy asked, what is the most offensive thing said to you ladies? I would dare say it wasn't said to me, but I was absolutely mortified that validation boy said to Glober mom to go make babies and shut her dumb mouth up, basically, is what she said.
Or female dumbass up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll just apologise, Roxy. That's I should have been paying more attention to the chat. Actually, I apologise to that about that.
Oh, no.
But yeah, guys, thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, thank
hopefully,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, hopefully,
you so much.
hopefully we can do it again sometime if we got some. If there's a particular bit of stupid I come across, which I might need some female insight on, perhaps. You know, I know where to go. I know where to call.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, we've had the Uncalled Four on, and with Bull. Once again, thanks to them all for coming on. It's been Jeff, God the Scummer. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, even if you are cooped up and not able to do much right now. So see you guys all later. All right, salute.
Bye, Godless Scummer. Thank you for having
Bye.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody in